Man, we look so badass here. I love this game alone just for this. Look how I just look like I just killed half the planet. That's awesome. What is up, my legends? It's Scion. I am back, and I am going to be taking on Monster Hunter World today. This is going to be a new player survival guide, and it's not going to touch on everything. I'm not going to nitpick every nook and cranny of the game, but what I am going to do for you guys today is tell you a lot of things that I wish I knew from the start that I didn't know and I had to learn and basically figure out the game as I went along. So we're going to have about 11 points, and a lot of this is going to really help you guys out if you're new to the game or you're struggling with the game. So point number one is pretty much going to be your friends are power. If you don't have a lot of friends, make friends. That'll make this game a whole lot easier for you. Unless you want to be a solo artist, and if that's just a totally different ballpark and not what this video is actually about. But if you're a solo guy, you like Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Bloodborne, those types of games, then, you know, by all means, go for it. Do your thing. Make YouTube videos, be on Twitch, grind it out. But this game is a whole lot easier and more fun with a group. And a matter of fact, this game brings back some of that social aspect that we have lost over the years. The games are not as social as they used to be. A lot of people don't have main games, and I actually didn't have a main game to play as much as I played this game recently in years. So I'm ecstatic that this game is like that. So remember, friends of power. Get together, give your guild card to people, make a guild, make any type of friend that you can, because that'll make your life a whole lot easier. Number two, pick a few weapons, not a lot, not like, you know, 5 or 6 weapons, because you're not going to be able to maintain 5 or 6 weapons that early into the game. And it makes things a whole lot easier, because once you pick a weapon, or not, matter of fact, not just a weapon, what I would suggest is pick, you know, 2 ranged weapons, not 2 ranged weapons, 2 melee weapons and 1 ranged weapon, so you can have a multifaceted type of thing. So what I did is I went with the greatsword, the katana longsword, and then the light bow. That's my ranged weapon. I have a weapon that can kind of tank, which is the greatsword, because I can block with that. I have a DPS weapon, which is the longsword, and then I have the ranged weapon with the light bow. Now I might actually, you know, the light auto bow, I might change to something else, but for now, that's perfect. That works just fine. You also need to learn how to use these particular weapons. So what I would suggest is you go into training, which you can do from anywhere, and look at your hunter notes. This is going to be very important for you, because when you look into your hunter notes, you can see that it gives you all the combos and pretty much tells you how to use each of these items. And then on top of that, it tells you what the useful combos are. Now you can actually change all that and do various different things along the way, but definitely pay attention to this, because it's going to be your thing. You're going to need to come back to this a lot. So definitely pay attention to it. Alright, another thing that you should definitely pay attention to is the stuff that's in the actual armory or the crafter. Now, one of the things that you should not do, we're going to go in. Stop talking to me. This may all look nice to do initially, but I'm going to tell you why you should not do it. Now, you see, this is my Zora gear right here. Even though I can't actually upgrade this, you can upgrade other armor pieces. You should not do that. And the reason why is because you are not going to keep armor in this game that long unless you're just progressing way too slow and maybe play like 1 hour a day and just don't have anything to do. You should never do it. It's a waste of money. It's a waste of resources, because you will never keep the armor long enough as far as when it comes to your actual armor. Now, your weapons, they upgrade according to, like, if you want to go and you know, upgrade a weapon like this, it depends on what you want to do. You always want to try to keep a different type of weapon. Like if you see a enemy is weak to fire, ice, or wind or something like that, you should try to make a weapon to try to deal with that. A lot of people, if they are like a longsword like me, a longsword main, they make different longswords. I don't necessarily think that that's that great a thing to do, because then you don't learn anything else. So like if you have another weapon that you want to like, you know, rotate, you can have two of the longsword weapons, you can have two of a great sword or something like that. And as long as you take all the elements into consideration, so you can have maximum DPS versus a weakness, by all means do what you need to do. If you feel you want to make multiple weapons, which is going to be pretty hard on your grinding, then you can do that too. But I wouldn't suggest that early on in the game if you're just starting out, because you're not going to have enough Zenny or what I believe that's Zenny or whatever the coin is. You're not going to have enough of that right now to actually do something like that. So keep that in mind. All right. So the next thing I actually want to point out to you guys is rooms. All right. So you're going to watch me do this right now. We're going to go to an online session. And this is important because some people actually don't know how to do this. So what you want to do is you want to go to search for online session, and then you want to filter, hit confirm. What this does is it lets you see everything, and you want to go to the room with the most people. So I'm going there. Hopefully I get in. It was 15 to 16. Even though it appears to be a Japanese room, but that's fine. Works out just as well. You will take advantage of the power of rooms. That's what I call it. And the reason why I to take advantage of it is it allows me for my next point. Now we have a bunch of people.
We need to find more of our mystery monsters trail.
Okay.
We should check every
Chick, be quiet.
You can go on an expedition or an
All right.
quest.
So the next thing that you want to actually learn is going into different missions actually helps you out. And then there's certain bosses that you won't necessarily be able to beat by yourself because you're either behind in gear, or you just don't know the boss's mechanics. You know, things might be a little bit harder for you. You might not have enough friends, or maybe you combined with your friends is just not good enough to beat the boss. I'm not judging, but you know, it happens. So if there's a case like that, what you can do is, now that you know that you're in a room with a whole bunch of people, you see there's people actually in missions. You can go in there and jump in missions. The reason why this is good is you can come into mission and actually learn to fight. You can come in and, you know, beat up on stuff. If you feel like Diablos is a pretty hard boss to actually get down and fight. So if you feel that you're not that great on your own, get in here and fight with these two guys and maybe get a win, get his parts, start getting gear. Makes things easier on you so you don't have to struggle alone or struggle with people who maybe they're not as good as you. Just, you know, get that experience. It also makes things easier. You meet more people. You come in here, like if there's a certain type of thing that you need, you can respond to SOS. And you can actually come in here, and as you can see right here, we have a whole bunch of things here. We have a sign. There's only 2 people in here for a sign, but you can join in on them as long as you have the hunter rank to join in on them. You have the optional right here. Like maybe you can't hunt Rathian by yourself. Maybe you're not good enough to fight Rathian. Come in here with this guy and kill Rathian. He has some good gear, so it's definitely a good thing. Same thing with hunting investigations. They have a Rathian right there. You know, there's somebody in here doing that. Somebody here doing that. Like, you don't really talk to people in this game anyway, unless you're all in party chat together. So it's like universal to come in and, you know, win. That's all people care about is winning. You don't need to actually have a conversation to win. Just come in there, help somebody out, and win. There we go. We have expeditions, and all of this right here makes you a better gamer overall because you get to learn and do things. Another thing that you also want to do is when you're out in the field, you always want to pick up monster traces because that gives you more information on the monster that you get into a level that you can actually start reading what the monsters have. So again, you go into Hunter Notes and go into Monster Field Guide, and you see that all the bosses right here, they're right here. And what you could do is you pick out Great Jagras, and you look at on the top right there, you have the L on the R one you can move over. So it pretty much gives you a story of it. The smallest you fought towards the largest that you fought. You click over here, and it pretty much tells you how to damage each individual part on the monster, where's the weak points at, where you should be attacking at. Pay close attention to that because it helps you fight the monster, and it also tells you what they're weak against when you get enough information on it. And you see, I am a rank 3 with Great Jagras, and the higher rank you get, the more information that you get on it, and then you also get to learn different things, like when you're mounting it, like how to stay on and all type of stuff. So, yeah. So you see the elements that it's weak against, which is fire. So bring a fire weapon in, and you put the hurt on Great Jagras. You see Yaku, he's weak against water. Put the hurt on him. Again, right here, you see Puke, or I guess whatever you want to call it. He's weak against thunder, but water kind of doesn't really do anything to him. Barra, it kind of has a weird type of thing, and like, we're covered with mud. Water is a little bit weird. Fire, different things. Thunder kind of doesn't do anything because he's a rock monster. Same thing. Well, you pretty much get the point right here. Ailments also, what would hurt it more, like what would screw it and that type of thing. So definitely pay attention to that type of stuff, and always pick up your monster traces. Now, with looking at this, my next point is always be informed. I will not be upset anybody for being a noob, or just dying to something if they don't are not good at actually fighting the fight. You can learn that, but having information and being informed is something that every gamer can do. There's no excuse for not knowing stuff. There's no like, oh, well, I just started playing this game, I don't know. Like, you didn't research? Dog, you didn't look at the Hunter notes? Like, you didn't go to Monster Hunter World Wiki? Like, I'm telling you guys, there's a wiki for everything, every game. So for somebody to not have information on the game means that they didn't care to learn about the game. And that is something that I will be triggered at somebody about. Information is power in every single game you play, and there is never an excuse not to have it, especially when the game has stuff like this right here, and the game has a main wiki like that. So always take advantage of that stuff. That's the one thing gamers will get mad at other gamers about, when they don't have the information or they don't know, because there's no excuse in this day and age for it. Just putting it out there. All right, so your Palico. We're going to talk about the power of Palico. So we're going to go over here, which is, am I going the wrong way? Yes, I am. Your Palico may be one of the most interesting and strongest things in the game that you can have, because they do certain things. One, they have 5 different gadgets that do different things. I always keep the bug heal spray because it saved my life so many times that it's so invaluable. But there's a point where the Palico can actually throw out a bomb. There's a point where they can give you shield power. Another one actually stuns, and the Palico has a really good use to it. But the most use for me, because it seems that it works against every monster that I have seen so far, even when I watched other people, when you go into Palico over here, is ailments that the weapon does on the Palico. Now, your Palico can't really die, so it's always out there doing something to somebody. What I like to actually do with my Palico, and I probably will never change this weapon with my Palico, is the Bond weapon. If you look at the Bond weapon, it has a sleep element on it, and it will put a monster to sleep. And I cannot tell you how many times that this particular weapon has screwed a monster for me. A monster be doing whatever else, be coming at me, be charging, even on Diablos, and my Palico will hit him, and he'll immediately fall over and fall asleep. It is the funniest thing in the world. It gets you free hits. I do so much damage to monsters with that weapon alone. Now, if you look up, there's various things that your Palico can do. It can poison, fire, thunder, water, and these type of things like that. There's even paralysis right here, which does the same exact thing as sleep. Now, what you can do is, because you can ailment a monster back to back, so if you're in the group, if everybody's Palico has a different ailment like that, like you put sleep, paralysis, ice, or something like that, you could head over to the high version of it and, get a little bit more damage. You see, they still have the same thing coming in, and they even have blast, which blast does a little bit of a knockback on monsters, which is interesting. I'm probably not going to do it, but still interesting to put that on the Palico. He's never going to really do that much damage, and the Palico will kill It can kill because it has a high enough damage to kill a monster, but it will never be like your saving grace. But the fact that he can CC a monster and cause it to fall asleep, doesn't matter what it is, that is invaluable. You will not even understand how useful it is until you see your Palico knock over a monster 100 times bigger than it. It's funny. All right. Next thing, since we're back in here, is understanding Monster Hunter's leveling curve. Now, Monster Hunter is a game that will not tell you when you need to upgrade. It'll just, as long as you win, the game don't care. You can get people to come in and help you in SOS, and you just think that you're good to go and get carried through missions, but it will not tell you when you need to upgrade. The best way to be able to tell when you need to upgrade is this. When you have various missions, here's what happens. We want to go to upgrade, and I need armor. So let's go in here. No, not that. Over here with armor. Here's what happens. So let's go over. So say you start in the entry level and quest. Now you're gonna notice something right off the bat. You see leather, chainmail, and hunters all around the same defense. What ends up happening, as you can see right here, these are the first two that you get that you can choose from in the game. As you go to a certain point, you're going to notice that it jumps. Now you see right here, Hunters is the next level, but you're also going to notice that Bone and Vespit is all comparable. And then it has a little bit of a skip, and then it goes to Jagras. What happens is, what the game does in the storyline, when you're entry level into the game, these are like the first couple of storyline quest levels right here. It's not going to tell you, it's not going to encourage you to do anything. It's just going to leave you with this gear, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're going to be right here. What you're going to notice is when you do it in the story, you're going to start getting hit harder and start getting smacked around. So most people do is like, hey, I like this favorite armor. I look cute like this. I look cute in this bone armor. And they start doing story stuff, and they start going through quests with people. And what ends up happening is you start to get all the way down here, where you see this the Puke, which actually is in the ancient zone. Most people, because they don't know, still end up all around this gear, and that's a problem. You're now behind in gear. It's still all the same zone, and the monsters are still all in the same area, but now you need to start being around this stuff. This is like the end of the ancient zone right here, the Puke stuff right here. It's not going to tell you, and you can actually even get gear like this. You can actually get the Anja gear, because he's still out there in that, but they don't really tell you that, and the Anja is really hard early in the game. You really shouldn't be messing with him. The same thing with Rathian. The Rathian is actually out there too. You should not be messing with them that early in Ancient Forest, but the game is not going to encourage you or tell you anything. So it's going to push you along storylines. So what you should always pay attention to for is when the storyline says, hey, we're going to open up a new gear line for you. When that happens, you need to pay attention to what that gear line is to say, okay, if they start to open up Puke, and you all the way back up here in Vespid with this 8 defense right here, you're under level gear. That's what's happening right there. That means that you need to be on the Puke level. So that's when you start trying to quest hop and quest grind and start getting this gear, and ignore all the rest of the stuff because you're probably going to be behind. You just need to jump right up to here. Then you're going to notice you're going to be fine for a little while. Then it's going to start to say, hey, do this right over here. And it's like, we're going to open up more quest lines for you. That's when you know that you need to upgrade at that point. Don't ignore it, because most people ignore it, and that's when they run into problems and they start saying gear is a little bit too hard and I'm getting hit too hard, or they get carried and they never really understand it until they start getting on solo fights. Or some people never end up in solo fights and they get carried so much that they get to a point that they're so detrimental that they get one shot instantly. Don't let that happen to you. Don't be that guy. Don't be in the mission and you only got 2 revives, and as soon as you come into the mission, you just get punted somewhere and you got Hunter level 10 because you wearing Puke gear when you should be all the way down like at Anja gear somewhere like that. Don't be that guy. Whatever your mission thing is, like you see with me right here, with me, right here, this is where I'm supposed to be at. Right here. All this 44 stuff right here. Right, all these guys right here, I should be at the 44 gear mark right now. You see, I just started doing that. I got Zora Magnaros gear right here. This is where I should be at right here. I shouldn't be anywhere right here. I shouldn't have any of this gear right now. See? But I do because I'm behind and I just got there. So this is where I have Legiana gear because that was good for me at this point. As you can see right there, that was my gear level. But now it left my gear level now. And I did notice that I get hit harder. So immediately, I'm looking for Zoro Magnaros missions so I could get gear. As you can see, I've been building up. And I'm doing my thing right now. That's how you handle that. Now, the last thing that I'm going to hit you guys up with that you should probably pay attention to is team composition. And I'm at the point right now where that is starting to be important. And you guys should probably think about that a little bit early on. There's different things in this game. You could be a tank, because there's a few weapons that can actually tank. You could be a straight DPS, and if you're straight DPS, then just go for all DPS weapons and do your thing that way. You can even be support, because the horn in this game is a support weapon. You can heal, you can give buffs, you can give defense. The insect glaive can actually be a support weapon, because what you can do with the insect glaive is you can keep marking an enemy and constantly putting out buffs for your team in the form of insects, where all your team has to really do is hit that particular item. And as a matter of fact, let me show you that right now. Let me go over here to this. The insect glaive is actually pretty good. It actually is better and faster healing than the horn. The horn is a little bit of a skill check to actually use it properly, and I find it clumsy and clumpy. And I think that the insect glaive works a little bit like how Ana works in the Overwatch, where all the enemies have to do is really, well, not the enemies, all the like the people in your team have to do is hit the little fireflies, the green fireflies, and they can get healing from it, and you can just keep putting that stuff out. So go to this weapon. You want to change equipment. And you notice that I have the no, not this one. Let's find it. Here's the horn right here. My horn, if I can show you guys real quick. So I can't show you the notes that way. Let's see here. So I could show you the horn, or am I doing it this way? There we go. Alright, so you see you have self-improvement, which is a buff to your soul, stamina reduced, wind pressure, defense up, healing received, and healing received an antidote. Now, both of the healing received will actually cause a heal over time, and the healing received will cause that in any type of debuff on the character, it'll get rid of that. It's a little bit clumsy to actually do that, and when I've seen people do it well on YouTube, like make like compilations, and actually, you know, be a boss at it, but I'm slow, so bro, no. So what I am actually going to do is use my blooming glaive, and when you look on my blooming glaive, what it actually does is it actually, no, am I using the right one? Maybe I'm not. No, it is my booming glaive. Well, anyway, my booming glaive actually, there it is, the dust effect. What it does is when I mark a monster or an enemy, it will actually put the dust mark on the enemy and leave it there. Like, and as long as I keep marking and the insect keeps attacking whatever enemy is, they keep putting the dust mark out. So anybody who hits that, hits the fireflies will get healed. You can keep doing that over and over again, so you have a whole bunch of fireflies out there and have healing out there for them. I find that far faster, better. With a little bit of coordination, you can keep everybody healed, basically, as long as they keep hitting that. Or if you're soloing, there's an excellent solo thing that you keep healing yourself. So just keep that in mind. You can also make the heal a whole lot stronger, as you see, but I only put it at level 3 because level 3 is fine, and I just went for more of a speed type of thing. But in the future, I'm probably going to change that up and go for more of a heal, just to have it more burst. But just remember that it's a single type of heal, but it's actually pretty strong and pretty good. You can also choose bow and bow and minigun. Bow and minigun actually has a way that you can aim, just like with Ana and Overwatch. You can aim at your comrades and heal them that way, which is also pretty sick. Like, you just aim at them, target them, aim them, and then give them a heal. I find that sick. That's super sick. That's awesome that that's in the game. So keep that in mind, that you got tanks, you have healers, and you have DPS. Now, what I would suggest for you guys is have somebody who's good at lance and shield, have somebody who's good at axe who can block, or greatsword or something like that. Even longsword has a parry that once the person gets good, they never take damage with that parry. Just keep that in mind, and let that person keep the monster occupied while the rest of you guys blast them from behind, or hit them with range, or have somebody who's a healer keep marking or something like that, or keep sending out buffs, and you take down all content easy in this game. Super easy. The Trinity is in this game hot, like hard. Trinity's in this game. So keep all of that in mind. Keep all of this in mind. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed the little gameplay that I'm gonna have on the side playing while this, because I realized I had to talk a long time for this. So I definitely will have gameplay playing like in a little corner, just so you guys could have that to go along with it. And I hope you guys, if you're new in this game, or even if you're a veteran, I hope you learned something new. See you guys next video. I'm loving Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter will always be fun. I am sorry I look like a mismatched, like, piece of nonsense right now, but I'm mid gear. I still have the Legiana and the Zoro Magnaros gear on. So yeah, be legendary. Like and subscribe as always. Hit that notification bell, because if you ain't first in the notification squad, I don't know what to tell you. Peace.